Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Mark Farzetta along with you here. Thanks for having me along for the ride. I see the first comment of the show from T-Bro. What's up, T-Bro? My apologies. Farzy must have spilt the bacala water. I enjoyed that when I saw that right before I hit go live on the old button there. But yeah, my apologies. A little technical issue. Matt Patricia spoke at length yesterday, as one would assume. And oh my goodness gracious, that man is a talker. And we will break down really what I found valuable out of all of it. And I'll be honest with you, not much other than like you're not going to get much out of him. He comes from the Bill Belichick style, except he's a little bit more long-winded, saying a lot while saying nothing, one of them type deals. But I did find it at least interesting for a guy coming into a season with 4 games left, now 3, but coming in with 4 games to take over the defensive play calling. And for those that are curious, the Eagles, when they send out a transcript of the press conferences from the coaches, they don't do it for players, but for the coaches, they build Matt Patricia as defensive assistant. Matt Patricia, not defensive coordinator, senior defensive assistant, as I glance at the email one more time. So that's the way they broke it down. So we'll get his thoughts on taking over a defense. And a very interesting question posed by Ruben Frank of NBC Sports Philadelphia. How do you know what to change and what not to change when you come in with 4 games left in the season? He did talk about his relationship with Sean Desai, how great of a coach Sean Desai is, how great of a transition this has been, how excited he is to coach up guys like Fletcher Cox and be around him and all that stuff. So we'll hear from Matt Patricia. We'll also hear from your quarterback, Jalen Hurts, because he was asked to not necessarily clarify, but kind of expound upon his comment, about commitment. And what he got into in that answer was interesting because basically he was just pointing the finger at himself. That's what he was doing. It's about me. It's about me setting the tone. It's about me setting the temperature and me motivating myself and my teammates to be better because we can all be better. I didn't think he needed to clarify anything about it. I thought the message was pretty clear about guys in the locker room, guys in the building, not having full commitment to the scheme, to the philosophy, maybe not having full confidence in themselves, being able to win a playoff game, make a deep playoff push. If they do face one of those upper echelon teams, which they most likely will in the Cowboys or the 49ers, that they would have enough confidence and commitment to actually win that game. Whatever you got to do. That was my answer. That was my thoughts on the commitment question and answer from Monday night. And that's what I'll say when we play what Jalen had to say about it in its entirety. Also, he gave his take on the interception at the end of the game and his take on Nick Sirianni talking about this team going for pass interference on that final throw by Jalen Hurts at the end of the Seahawks game. So he gave his thoughts on that. We got it all today, folks. We got it all. 2 things I got to start with. 1, if you are just waking up right now, if you haven't done your morning scroll through the Twitterverse or through social media, the Phillies have officially lost out on the Yamamoto sweepstakes. That man signing a $325 million deal with the LA Dodgers over 12 years. Holy pots and pans. First off, only $325 million? What is this guy? What is he not hit? What the hell is that matter with this guy? Anyway, the Dodgers inked him up last night, and from what I have seen, no money has been deferred for future cashing. I don't know. But yeah, that happened last night, earlier this morning, I should say. No, late last night, excuse me. Yamamoto signing with the Dodgers on a 12-year, $325 million deal. The Dodgers, by the way, according to Jeff Passan of ESPN, paying an additional $50.6 million posting fee to Yamamoto's previous team, the Oryx Buffaloes. So that's where we're at. Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto on the same squad with the LA Dodgers. Good times. And it was a little, I mean, look, I never expected them to do it. I like that they at least kicked the tires on him. I saw Corey Simon yesterday put out a story about how the Phillies were legit contenders on all of this and really showing legit interest in all of it. It just comes down to the idea of Yamamoto probably want to stay on the West Coast. It comes down to $325 million, and it comes down to being teammates, of course, with Shohei Ohtani. So, unfortunately, that pipe dream ain't happening here in Philadelphia. Also, the Philadelphia Flyers, unfortunately, lost last night. They bust their 9-game point streak, which is obviously unfortunate. They really had a nice run there. They lost to Nashville last night, 4-2. John Tortorella after the game, it was just classic John Tortorella. Turnovers. Can't have turnovers, can't play like that, expect to win hockey games. God bless you, John Tortorella. Flyers will be back at it against the Detroit Red Wings tonight. Right back at it, 7 o'clock in Detroit. They now go into a 5-game road trip. 76ers will be back at it. We'll get into that more in the morning rush. I did see Anthony Edwards' comments on Joel Embiid, just about how it's just mind-boggling how the Sixers ever lose a game with how dominant Joel Embiid could be. Very interesting comments right there. Let's spin it back to your football team, all right? Jalen Hurts, let's get to him first, because one of the things that has come out about Jalen Hurts and the coaching staff here is that they're coaching Jalen Hurts to kind of go deep to short when it comes to his progressions and force situations sometimes that really aren't there. If you have an opportunity to take a deep ball, to take a shot downfield, you take that shot down the field. I, for the most part, love that kind of philosophy. I don't love that kind of philosophy when you're talking about situational football. And as it turns out, Jalen Hurts says that's exactly what they were doing in that situation against the Seahawks. Here is Jalen Hurts on his interception that ended the game against the Seahawks Monday night.
The interception? Yeah. They're just trying to give him a shot down the field.
Jalen, can I just follow up real quick? Nick had said that his first mention was that looking for defensive pass interference there. Was that your thinking when you're throwing that there?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your first thought? Is that the way it's taught?
I mean, that's not the way it's taught. You're not hoping for that, but it's situational football, and, we came up on the short end of that stick.
In hindsight, how much do you wish you would have checked down to Kenny on that play, considering he had a lot of open field ahead of him?
I wish I would have done a lot of things. There's always plays that you wish you can get back. In the Jets game, in the Vikings game, and all of these games throughout the year, so it's just a learning opportunity.
Did you see on the side there?
No, I didn't. I did not.
He did not. He did not see, in case you didn't hear the question there, he did not see Kenny Gainwell. Did you see Kenny Gainwell kind of slip out into the flat there? Nope, I did not. I did not see him. It didn't look like he saw him. Not that I think he was going to go for him. Not that I thought he was going to wait for Kenny Gainwell to get out of the backfield to be able to hit him. I didn't think that was going to happen. But he did not see him anyway. He had his back to him, as I told you yesterday, as I was breaking it down for you yesterday. When you look at what Jalen Hurts was looking at on that play, there's no way with the blocking collapsing on his left side, on his blind side, he was seeing Kenny Gainwell when he was looking on the opposite side of the field and deep down the field. So, no, it didn't surprise me at all that he did not see him. The other aspect of it is he knows the play. He knows that Kenny Gainwell's going to be back there, do the old fake pass block, if you will, or at least see if anybody was coming. They had actually Kenny Gainwell in a couple of instances. One of the other instances was on the deep ball to Quez Watkins that ended up also getting intercepted. One of the interesting things about that was that Kenny Gainwell was also open right at the line of scrimmage. In a situation like that, and you heard him right there, situational football. Here's what's so incredible about it. The Eagles had 2 timeouts left in that game. 2. They're driving down the field. They have an opportunity to put the game away. And with 8:15 left on the clock, excuse me, Jalen Hurts throws that ball to Quez Watkins with someone underneath. That's not situational football. That's dumb football. Then at the end of the game, when you still have some time remaining, that play goes off with 13 seconds left in the game. At that point, it's the 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. 13 seconds left is plenty of time to step back, look at the route, identify where A.J. Brown is, identify what the coverage is, recognize it's not there, and at the 45-yard line, the Eagles' 45-yard line, dump it off to Kenny Gainwell in the flat, who can get you 15 yards. We've been talking about this really throughout all week. The play was right there to be made. He didn't make the play. And what I'll always go back to is, forget about the coaching aspect of it. If you're trying to make it all up in one play to go for pass interference, I love the fact that he's saying that's not the goal. That's not what they're hoping for. That's not what they're striving for on that play. Oh, yeah, well, no, the play there is you want pass interference. Well, yeah, okay, with the play that you made, yeah, the pass interference would be a lot better than an interception. So I at least am relieved that part of it wasn't coached to him or spoken about to him. Yeah, by the way, we really want pass interference here. But what I do appreciate is the idea that he had a better play. Unfortunately, he didn't see it. But if the Eagles are telling Jalen Hurts, especially in that situation, just throw the deep ball. AJ is either going to come up with it or going to get pass interference. He didn't read the safety. He underestimated where Love was on the play, and he came over and made a great play. Jalen Hurts did not make a great play. And I know we've been talking about this all week, but when it comes to Jalen Hurts and the way he's coached, I don't give a damn what he's being told to do through progressions. The quarterback, there is nothing more obvious to me in any confusion as to who could be calling plays defensively, who's the guy that's organizing the defense, who's the guy coming up with the defensive game plan, who's calling plays offensively, how much of it is Nick Sirianni, how much of it is Brian Johnson. There is nothing. Who has final say on personnel? How much influence does Jeffrey Lurie have on personnel and drafting and game plan and strategy? All that stuff's murky in the NovaCare complex. But you know what's not murky and should never be murky, should be clear as a beautiful spring day, is who has final say over where the football goes, and that's Jalen Hurts. Even if they're coaching him up, he's a smart enough quarterback to realize that the situation he's in, with 13 seconds left, 2 timeouts, knowing Kenny Gainwell's route on the play, if you will, that's where the ball needs to go when he looks downfield and sees A.J. Brown covered. And also, he had already drastically underthrown a football to Quez Watkins. Oh, Quez was pushed. Even if Quez was just streaking down the field, Quez would have had to reverse course and come back and get that football. Even if he was wide open and there was no coverage on him, that ball was drastically underthrown. The throw to A.J. Brown, drastically underthrown. The smarter play in that situation was to Kenny Gainwell. The smarter play on the Quez Watkins play, that ended up being intercepted as well. The smarter play was to Kenny Gainwell. On a 1st and 10, a 4-point lead, Kenny Gainwell wide open at the line of scrimmage. I went back and I watched the all 22 of it. Just unbelievable. There's nothing more clear to me, though, than a quarterback having final say over where that ball goes. I very much doubt that he would ever be forced by a coach who's not running the play on the field. No, the ball must go here. No, that's ridiculous. I understand if it's it ended up being the last play for the Eagles, but if it's like a 4th and 10 in that situation where Jalen Hurts threw the interception, I understand if it's a 4th and 10 and it's the last play. A 1st and 10 from the 45, you don't go for that penalty. If there's 2 seconds left on the clock and it's a 4th and 10, and there's no other play to be made, that's where you go. I hate the fact that we're talking about this going into week 16. Not fun. Not fun. I also hate the idea of talking about a team's commitment going into week 16. Coming out of week 15, going into week 16. I hate that we're talking about a team's commitment. Jalen Hurts said after the game, Monday night, that he questioned his team's commitment to where they were. Questioned his team's commitment at the NovaCare complex. He's a big fan of, he's not big fan of talking about, you practice, you play how you practice. That makes me think that they're just going through the motions. That makes me feel like, they're taking it for granted that they can come back and get off the schneid here and start winning football games again and get into the playoffs and make things happen for them and make a deep run and get back to the Super Bowl and all that stuff. All that's great. Yeah, I cross my fingers and hope that that's the case. But if anyone's taking it for granted, then this team's just dead in the water already. Dead in the water already. So yesterday he was asked right out of the gate. First thing he was asked, he said, "Hey, how you guys doing?" To which they replied, I think it was Martin Frank. "Well, how about you? How are you doing?" Because I'm feeling better. Thank you. I'm like, okay, good. Man's feeling better. But then he was asked to clarify his comments about the team's commitment at this point in the season.
You know, my mind was in a place of, you know, really just trying to challenge myself, you know, and I think when you think about holistically about the things we want to accomplish and everything that we're trying to do, that all runs through me. That all starts with me. And so when I say we, I mean me, because you know, I'm the point guard out there. I'm the one that makes everything go, and I'm the guy that everyone trusts in to do and set the pace for everything. That's in how I play. That's in my leadership. That's in every aspect of the game, and that comes with the shoes that I walk in. And so this is a challenge to myself. And you know, you challenge yourself and you challenge the people around you. But you know, I think it's I think it's just a situation where we are, you know, where it's just something that we're going through, not something we're stuck in. And you know, it's beauty in all of this.
I certainly hope there's beauty in all this. He went on and talked. I'm not even kidding. Just that answer alone was about another 30, 40 seconds. So he very much something that he wanted to talk about, clarify, expound upon, whatever you think. I don't like how he answered the question. I don't like his answer. He makes it seem like I was in a bad mood at the time. I wasn't feeling well. We just lost the game. I threw 2 interceptions. They were ugly passes, 2 of the ugliest passes I've thrown all season. And he threw a fit. That's the way that when he tries to clarify or expound upon it, that is the way I take it. And I don't like that. If you're going to hold people accountable, and here we are with another buzzword, accountable, then hold them accountable. Don't back off. I was really talking about me. It starts with me. I set the temperature in the room. I set, you know, the attitude and mindset as a leader on this football team. And it's all about me. Yeah, well, hold on. Are guys really not committed at this point of the season? And that was something that he never really clarified, other than he just talked about himself and setting the tone. I don't like that. It makes me feel like this team is even, like, throughout the week. I started Monday night driving home from Ocean Casino after the postgame show. This team is lost. And then Wednesday, Nick Sirianni is dressing. Well, actually, I should start Sunday. It comes out. Matt Patricia is now the defensive play caller, the senior defensive assistant and play caller of the Philadelphia Eagles defense. That's bonkers. That's a panic move. Then they play Monday night. They lose Monday night. Then I'll drive home like, this team is so lost. And then I listen to Nick Sirianni on Wednesday. Well, we were kind of going for pass interference there. This team is so lost. And then I listen to Jalen Hurts, and I'm like, this guy's going to be holding guys accountable. This is great. Good for him. No. They haven't even played since the Seahawks game, obviously. But listening to them makes me feel like they're only more lost. And I really wish I didn't feel that way going into the Giants, Cardinals, and Giants again at the end of the season. And those are all just, hey, here's silver platter. 3 other games you can take for granted. And that's where we're at. I feel like this football team is just grasping at straws right now. And as much as I'd love for them to put up, a 42-10 win on the New York Giants, that would make me feel better that at least this team is going to gain some confidence. At least that they can play at a high level and actually blow out a team and control a game from start to finish. I don't feel like that. I feel like they're going to get a win against the Giants. And we'll talk more about it, on Monday. But good Lord, I do not feel great. Do not feel great about where the Eagles are right now. And I know everyone is pretty much on that same page, but I don't know if you guys are like me. You just went through this entire week listening to this team try to explain what the hell happened in Seattle, another game you were supposed to win, 4-point favorites on the road, and you had the game in hand in the fourth quarter, and you chucked it down the field. That's not situational football. And even trying to come back in that game to force overtime. Situational football? That ain't situational football. That's a horrible decision. Horrible play call, horrible decision. The first one, I'll go with the horrible play call. Second one, they had Kenny Gainwell open in the flat. He didn't see him. The other big change that we've talked a lot about this week is the defensive coordinator position and the defensive play caller. Matt Patricia was at the helm at the press conference yesterday, where he also talked about what this team needs to do going forward. How does he know what to change, and overall the transition? One thing I will say, and I'm not going to play it for you, but he did say that his relationship with Darius Slay is just wonderful. Absolutely peachy. When he was walking in to the auditorium at the NovaCare complex, Darius Slay was outside the room, and they exchanged a hug. They hugged it out. They broed it out. I know there's some people that are a little confused, or maybe they don't remember exactly what went down between those two. But obviously, Matt Patricia was the head coach in Detroit. Darius Slay was there in Detroit. And I had even forgotten the specifics of it. I just knew that those two were not good together. And then Slay ended up coming to Philadelphia, getting traded to Philadelphia, which is great. I'm happy that he's here. And there was what made me go back and look at it was when Slay said that he's getting the surgery and he's not going to be available for the next couple of weeks. I was like, well, the theory that came out about Darius Slay not wanting to play for Matt Patricia is an incredible and awesome theory. So I went back and was like, wait a minute, how bad was it really? I knew they didn't get along, but how bad was it? So I went back and I found a couple of clips on, I think it was First Take, straight from the horse's mouth. Darius Slay talking to Stephen A. Smith and the whole gang, Max Kellerman, back in the day, right? Back in the day, like a year ago. And he said in a defensive meeting, Matt Patricia was talking about Darius Slay and showing clips of Darius Slay messing up in coverage. And Darius Slay said, this is fine. I want to be coached. This is great. I'm like, that made me respect Slay even more. Even though the guy's a Pro Bowler, all that stuff, he wants to be coached. He wants to be taught. It's a coach to a player. This is exactly what a coach should be doing. And then Matt Patricia put up a picture from Darius Slay's Instagram account where Darius Slay is talking about a wide receiver that he had recently played against and talking about how great he is. And Matt Patricia, in front of the team, says to Darius Slay, why are you... I'll just put it like this because it's a family show. Having relations with this man. You with me? You got me? And Slay was like, oh, what? Hold on, man. You can coach me up all you want. You can't talk about it like that in front of the team. So, the theory of Slay not wanting to play for Matt Patricia because of something like that, I could see it. And that's where Slay had a big issue. So, fast forward, come to present day, yesterday at least, Slay and Patricia apparently they broed it out before Slay went into his first press conference as the Eagles' senior assistant and defensive play caller. So apparently all that smoothed out, but it was pretty rocky. That needed some heavy sandpaper to smooth that one over. Yeah, I literally was sipping coffee at the time I was watching it, and I would spit take, legit spit take. But I was like, oh, that's what he said. That's why the relationship was rocky. That's why it was a bumpy road. So for those that don't know, just a quick little Google search, later after the show, between my show and Birds 365, maybe people punch it up there on the old YouTube. It's right there for the taking. But apparently all is well. All is well right now. And Matt Patricia is now the defensive play caller of your Philadelphia Eagles. So here he is yesterday being asked about about the transition and taking over as the Eagles defensive play caller.
I think the great part about it was just going back to the spring when I had the opportunity to come here, and thankfully Nick extended that opportunity to me. Coach Sirianni's been tremendously amazing, for me to be around in this program, and obviously Mr. Lurie and Howie have built here. For me, it's just been such a privilege. So kind of just coming into the building and really being in a role where I kind of was in a lot of different areas, at the time, being able to help a little bit with offense from some of my experiences there and special teams, which I love, that part of it. And then defensively, being around those great coaches and around Sean, who's phenomenal, and kind of putting the installation of the defense in and learning. For me, it was a great learning opportunity at that point. So just kind of being involved with it, I think it's always with coaches, I think it's always collaborative, right? We always kind of meet and talk and have different ideas and thoughts. And certainly, like I said, it was a great opportunity for me to kind of learn the defense that, Sean was building, but it's the Eagles defense. It's the 2023 Eagles, and that's what we were trying to develop. And I think every year in football, things change a little bit and schemes change based on the people and the personnel that you have. And certainly I think that's what, we've been trying to do through the course of the year.
A lot without saying a lot. Saying a lot without saying a lot. I like the idea of obviously talking about matchups. I like the idea of talking about how fluid the situation has to be. It's all about the team you're playing and, not, fitting your scheme around the players and not fitting your players around the scheme. I think that's where even good coaches really prevent themselves from being great coaches, is where they learn the guys they have and they say, all right, well, this is how I can use and abuse the hell out of this to make the overall defense better. The best coach I've ever seen do that, not even close, is Jim Johnson. And I think I asked for something before the Seahawks game. And I asked for it Monday morning. And it was just a small thing and obscure. I will admit that this is very obscure. But one of the guys I could really look at and say, all right, are you going to use this guy properly? And Keely Ringo, don't get me wrong, was the star of the show for the Eagles defense on Monday night. Absolutely the star of the show. Got elevated to be a starter. Played extremely well in the role. Look forward to seeing more Keely Ringo and look forward to seeing him continue to develop. Hopefully the bar wasn't hopefully he didn't set the bar too high for himself, and this is just how he plays. That's what I'd love to see. I think we all would. But one really obscure thing that I was looking at, I was like, let me just see how he uses Sidney Brown, because I think how he uses Sidney Brown is going to tell you a lot about Matt Patricia. And I know that Sidney Brown was not a gangbuster. I know he was not phenomenal in the game. But he used him how I would want the defensive play caller to use Sidney Brown. He used him as a torpedo. He used him as a missile. He used him as a safety getting into the backfield. He used him as a guy that he played to his aggressiveness. Sidney Brown's got to learn to harness that. He's got a long way to go. I understand that. But the best thing you could do with him is make him be aggressive. Allow him to be aggressive, because that's what he does well. He plays aggressive. Sometimes it's going to work out well. Like a ball-hawking cornerback is going to jump the route, take it to the house. He's going to come up with big plays like that. That's going to happen from time to time. And then other times, he's going to get burned. He's going to get toasted. If he's gambling, he's not going to win every bet he makes. Sidney Brown obviously got burnt a couple times. Missed some tackles. 3 right off the top of my head. 2 that were tackles for loss. Had guys dead to rights. And guys just slipped him. But I liked the way Matt Patricia used him. Using someone who has a unique talent or skill set and exploiting the hell out of it. Unfortunately, the plays weren't able to be made, but the player was in the right position to make a play. And what do you hear every single time from coaches? Well, after a misplay or a bad game or a loss, got to do a better job, put a player in a better position. Sidney Brown was in that position. Matt Patricia put him in that position more times in one game than I had seen throughout this entire year with Sean Desai. That was very encouraging. He used something that Sidney Brown does very well and exploited the hell out of it for the overall advancement of the defense. It was very telling, and I like that a lot. And that's one of the things he was getting into right there, talking about, taking over and implementing his own philosophy, little parts of his own philosophy. And there's little parts of his philosophy already in this defense because, as he pointed out more than anything, Sean's a great coach, and to collaborate with him is a great thing. Fair enough. The other thing is, if you're coming into this job and you're taking over, how do you know what to change and what not to change? You're seeing Sean Desai call plays all season long. You're up in the booth. You're watching it from the bird's eye view, from the eagle eye, if you will. How do you know what to change and what not to change? This is how Matt Patricia broke it down yesterday.
Question. I think it's really. I think defenses in football evolve every week. Based on who you play and kind of the schemes and the problems that the offense presents. I think that's like one of the things that, for me, that I always look at. Sometimes I say this all the time. Sometimes it's more like the NBA than it is anything else. Like, what are the matchups and what are the people? And I think that we've been evolving, through the course of the season in different areas and different ways, and trying to maximize what we do each and every single week. So I think you still have to have some of that. I think you do have to evolve and do things that fit the players that you have to that particular week. But certainly, you want to keep the foundation of what you spend a lot of time on, and just, a lot of times, try to just let the talent shine that we have on the field, which is great. We have great players, we have great coaches. So, really just excited watching them play and learn to get to know them and be around guys like Fletcher Cox. I mean, who I have the utmost respect for and have just, I remember coming out with the draft, I loved him then. I was like, let me get my hands on this guy, and a lot of those guys like that. So just being around tremendous people like that, that's what I think makes, that's what as coaches makes us better.
Makes them better. I think I cut that off at the end there. Absolutely. And you want him talking about some of these guys that are going to be leaders on your defense. Fletcher Cox was the first guy that he mentioned that he was excited about working with there. And that was one of the things he really talked about in yesterday's press conference, was getting his hands on some of these veteran guys, learning from them, not just what they do well and seeing it up close and personal and then putting them in those positions to make plays, but also in an aspect where he can understand their influence in the locker room. If he's having difficulty in the last 4 games of the season, selling a point or selling a play, he's got to know that he's got the leadership in place that can be able to drive that point home and eventually make that play and hopefully do it, starting last week, starting this week. That'd be nice. But listening to him talk about, what to change and what not to, everything's installed. You're not making drastic changes. You're going to make tweaks. And one of the things that did become more clear throughout this week was Matt Patricia ran things last week. It wasn't Sunday all of a sudden. By the way, tomorrow we have a different defensive play caller. Even though Sean Desai took the weekly press conference as the defensive coordinator, it was Matt Patricia running things in the defense. And that became even more clear when you realize that they went into a padded practice instead of having a walkthrough like they normally do as their first practice of the week, getting ready for Seattle. They needed to do a little bit more than just walk around at practice. They needed to get a feel for Matt Patricia as a play caller of this defense. So it became more clear throughout the week this week. And then Matt Patricia, just in the meeting yesterday, also talked about it, saying how, you needed to have that kind of practice to make sure that everyone was going to be on the same page going into a game, because he had not called plays for this defense. And you have such a short amount of time. It's so crazy that they actually did this, but he had such a short amount of time to actually call those plays, get on the same page, and get used to everybody's rhythm and cadence from the sidelines to the field. I still think that this whole thing is bonkers. And the long and short of it is, if you ask me before a game, not even leading up to the game, like the week leading up to it, but if you ask me right before a game, hey, who would you feel better about calling plays? Sean Desai, a one-time defensive coordinator, or Matt Patricia? I'd be like, what's up, Matt Patricia? What? How come that hasn't happened? What? How? Yeah, then Matt Patricia. Have him call plays for the defense. And here we are. I just can't believe that the Eagles actually did it. I don't understand how before the season you had Matt Patricia. You had an opening for defensive coordinator. You're able to hire Matt Patricia, but you don't hire him as your defensive coordinator. Instead, you hire Sean Desai? Huh? And pretty much all the other candidates were off the board. Yet you had Matt Patricia and Sean Desai. Nothing against Sean Desai, but one of the biggest questions in the offseason when we were kicking it around was, well, hold on a minute here. Who is Sean Desai? Oh, he's a disciple of Vic Fangio. Okay, so he's shaking hands with Vic Fangio, so he deserves to be your defensive coordinator just like that? You couldn't get Vic Fangio because the Dolphins pounced on it. You botched that at the Super Bowl, as we all know by now. And Matt Patricia's still available, and you looked at those two candidates and you went, we're going to get Sean Desai. That to me downplays, or at least makes the Eagles look like they downplay the role of defensive coordinator. Whoever the DC is for the Eagles, they downplay that role, and they give him the guidelines. Here's the blueprint of what you could do. We don't want a lot of press coverage. We don't want guys, we want guys having a lot of cushion. We don't want to give up the big play. I remember having, I'm blanking. Steven Nelson, was that his name? The defensive back from 2 years ago? Talked about Jonathan Gannon and his overall scheme as a, quote, genius. The guy's a genius. Okay. So you go into this with Sean Desai having those same kind of guidelines of no press coverage, you don't send blitzes, you play a little bit more conservative. And I gave Sean Desai a lot of credit in the early goings of the season for adjustments and being a little bit more aggressive than what we saw from Jonathan Gannon. And being a little bit more aggressive felt like a lot more aggressive. But you're looking at the position and you're going, hold on, this team doesn't really care as much about the defensive coordinator position because a lot of defensive coordinators can go out there and run the scheme the Eagles want to run and ultimately not get burned on the big plays. So they set those guidelines, pretty easy guidelines. If you're a defensive coordinator and you're looking at it and go, hold on, these are my guidelines. This is all I got to do is not give up big plays. I can have all the cushion I want between my defensive backs and receivers. And all I got to do is maybe force some turnovers and get some sacks. Okay, yeah, I can do that. That's not exactly a high bar. That's not a lot of boxes to check. So they went, yeah, the Sean Desai guy can do it. Who cares? Who gives a damn? He was in the Seahawks front office last year. He's got 1 year as a defensive coordinator under his belt. He's shaking hands with Vic Fangio. Hey, can you give a lot of cushion on your defense? Yeah? Okay, fine, you're hired. Matt Patricia standing right there. What sense did this make? And I'm listening to Matt Patricia yesterday go on these long answers. And the whole time I'm thinking, you had this guy all year. The defense just didn't start being bad on third down or in the red zone, or their pass coverage, wasn't one of the worst in the NFL just recently. That's been the case all year long. And they're making this change now. This guy, Matt Patricia, was just standing there, literally, just giving advice. And you had him hired in the organization. It tells me that they don't really give a damn about the defensive coordinator position. They set the guidelines. Don't think they're that hard to follow. Don't think they're that hard to have success with either. Yeah, Sean Desai, you could be the defensive play coach. You could be the defensive coordinator. And with 4 games left, realizing they need a change so they don't waste another year of this offense as is right now and this team as is right now, which is pretty damn talented, even though it hasn't looked like it over the last 3 games. All right, in case of emergency, break glass. Behind that glass is Matt Patricia. Let's put our best foot forward. It's not introducing a new scheme. It's not changing things drastically with personnel or scheme in the last 4 games. It's just a different mindset to play calling. That's all it is. They can make that change. And I got confidence they will be a better defense going forward. And even in this game where they lost to Drew Lock and they allowed him to go 92 yards down the field to win the game against Seattle, I still have more confidence in this team going forward. I still have more confidence in this defense going forward with Matt Patricia calling plays and not Sean Desai. So even though it's weird, even though it's crazy, sitting there yesterday and watching that damn near half-hour press conference with Matt Patricia, I'm thinking this guy was here all along. And the bottom line is I feel a lot better about the Eagles defense going forward with Matt Patricia in charge than I do Sean Desai. And ultimately the Eagles do as well. And I think most Eagles fans would admit the same thing. Yes, it's weird. Yes, it feels like a panic move. But overall, it's not going to be that drastic of a change. You're not overall changing your philosophy or scheme. You're not bringing in a whole handful of players that everything's going to be different. Not the case. Different philosophy, different scheme. The biggest change is that you're not going to have Darius Slay. You're going to have Keely Ringo. And hopefully you have a change with James Bradbury where he maybe doesn't, suck at his job. That'd be great. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further and get into our chat check, let me tell you about the wonderful people at Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Check out the Lawnmower Stocking Stuffer, the Lawnmower 5.0. Make sure you use promo code FARZY20. That's FARZY20 at Manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. They are the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, and they've launched their 5th-generation lawnmower to help you avoid another silent night in the bedroom this year. Take care of your special snowflake with Manscaped. And watch your South Pole shine, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Manscaped's all about. Manscaped.com. Use promo code FARZY for 20% off and free shipping, and your own Mrs. Claus will thank you. And also, the fun doesn't stop there with the Lawnmower 5.0. Oh, no. Anybody in the family have too much scruff? Look no further than Manscaped Beard Hedge Pro Kit. That's right. Beard Hedger Pro Kit and Handyman Electric Face Shaver. That would be funny if they gave you a beer while you're doing it. Yeah, you drink while you do it. Also, their Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear hair trimmer. How about their boxers? Boxer game getting weak? Take care of those chestnuts with Manscaped Boxers 2.0, featuring their signature jewel pouch to keep you calm, cool, and collected. How about those nails? They've seen better days. Manscaped has you covered with that as well with their new Shears 3.0 nail grooming kit. So once again, use promo code FARZY20 for 20% off and free shipping. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Promo code FARZY20. Say ho, 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 and get well-groomed mistletoe from Manscaped. How about MyBookie? MyBookie.ag. Check out all they have to offer when you use promo code FARZY at MyBookie.ag. You want to bet on football this weekend? Want to bet on football on Monday? MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. So make sure you check it out. Use promo code FARZY and get up to $1,000 redeemable. Bet on all the sports, and if you're not a sports whiz, you like TV a little bit more, maybe you're into politics a little bit more, you can bet on all of it with MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. Use promo code FARZY for up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus. How about the amazing people at Game Time app? The Game Time app is a great time, and if you want to get those tickets in time for the holidays, download the Game Time app, use promo code FARZY, and we'll give you $20 off your first purchase when you download the app, create an account, and use promo code FARZY for $20 off your first purchase. They have flash ticket sales for ultimate savings, and here's what they guarantee with the Game Time guarantee. Lowest price guaranteed, even cancellation protection, job loss, all that stuff. They got you covered for that. And with the Game Time guarantee, it means you'll get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you we'll credit you 110% of the difference. How insane is that? Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code FARZY for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about our friends at Sky Motorcars? Check out SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine Friday morning. Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't even do this. I got to do this. Eagles injury report. Cam Jurgens, Avonte Maddox, both full participants. By the way, this is dark. This is black because the Eagles are doing the blackout game against the Giants coming up here. Okay. Zach Cunningham, Landon Dickerson, Nicholas Morrow, Darius Slay, Devontae Smith all did not participate in practice yesterday. Not great, Bob. Jurgens, Maddox, great. Maddox, they opened the 21-day practice window, so I'd love to see Avonte Maddox out there running around for the Eagles against the Giants come late Monday afternoon. And by the way, when I said we're going to talk Monday morning, there won't be a show. It's Christmas morning. But I will be with you guys as part of the Jacob Media coverage for Eagles Giants coming up on Monday. So that's fun. Where are we at? There we are. Get to the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing. Here's T-Bro's comment that led off the show today. Farzy Bus has spilt the bacala water. Never spilled. I've never soaked the bacala. That's a very old school generational thing. And my father and his cousins, they all tell me they'll never do it because it was so gross growing up. What's up, Daniel? Yo to you as well. Jason A. What's up, Jason A? Jacqueline. What's going on, Jacqueline? Nice to see you. Ace. Fire Fat Patricia. Oh, come on. Teresa. What's going on, Teresa? Good morning. Mihai. What's going on? Robert. Now this. Sean Gillespie, what's going on? Robert. Now around the 8:15 mark is when they blew the game. However, I do believe they have him throw the ball to that receiver. It was horrible. Jalen has to do a better job and use better discretion. I'll agree with that. I agree the play was called for the ball to go deep at 8:15. I really just don't understand the decision. And even though the first read is Quez Watkins, that doesn't mean you have to go. Like, what's going to happen? They go over to the sideline. Let's play this out for a second. Jalen has to throw the ball there. Okay. As I was saying, the quarterback has final say over where that ball goes. So they signed Jalen Hurts to be a franchise quarterback, okay? And then they say, only throw the ball here? Or really make sure you try to get the ball here. So you're going to ask your quarterback that is sick as hell, by the way. He sounded like crap after the game. Let's be honest, okay? You have to fly out there and on a separate plane from the rest of the team as if they're not to get them sick, okay? And then you're asking him to throw the ball 40 yards down the field when you're up by 4 with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Not great. And then you're asking him to win the game again in a much more, press situation, obviously. But there's a better play to be made on the field. Hey, by the way, if it's not there, remember you got Gainwell leaking out here at the end. They don't do it. But let's play the scenario out. He throws the interception to Quez Watkins. Let me reverse it. Rewind it even further. He drops back to pass, and right before he lets it rip to Quez Watkins, he goes, I have to throw it. No. All right. Let's say he checks down and hits Kenny Gainwell at the line of scrimmage, and Kenny Gainwell gets a couple of yards. Kenny Gainwell had a lot of guys around him, not covering him, but enough guys that they would have brought him down 3 or 4 yards in. So you would have been facing like a 2nd and 6, okay? With time still ticking off the clock. With you still winning by 4 points. So let's play this out where Hurts looks, sees Quez Watkins and goes, we don't need it. Checks down to Gainwell. Then the drive continues. They go down the field. They score a touchdown. Who knows? Maybe they stall out and they have to kick a field goal. I don't know. You mean to tell me that after that, in this alternate universe, Jalen Hurts trots over to the sideline, has a conversation with Nick Sirianni, and has a conversation with Brian Johnson, and they're both like, what the hell, Jalen? You didn't throw the ball to the guy that we wanted you to throw the ball to? You're benched. Is that how that works? I don't think so. I think what would happen in this parallel universe, in this alternate universe, is that Jalen Hurts completes the throw to Kenny Gainwell underneath with 8:15 left on the clock. They don't throw the interception. They continue the drive. They move down the field. They bleed the clock. And the next thing you know, you get either a field goal to go up by 7, or you punch it into the end zone. And you might give the ball back to Seattle down 11, and they got 3 minutes left on the clock. That's what might happen. So I doubt that Jalen Hurts is absolutely being forced to throw it. Do I think he's being coached to do it? Absolutely. Forced to do it? No way. Because you're not winning that battle. What are you going to do? Not re-sign Jalen Hurts because you're going to throw the ball to the guy you want to, but you still win and you put up points? Oh, and you don't turn the football over 2 more times? Yeah, I'll go with that. But thank you for asking the question, Robert. You and I are on the same page, I think. Blue City Empire Sports, what's going on? As a Giants fan who is unbiased. Don't believe that. What is your score prediction for the Eagles? Right now, I mean, I said that earlier. I want them, I need like a 42-10 win. I don't think they have that in them. I think it's going to be like a 27-17 win for the Eagles. That's how I see it playing out on Monday. Terrence, what's going on? You can definitely tell he was sick. Huge difference. Broke the question down. Gave a better answer. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. I think he had the flu and didn't want to answer questions. I barely talk to my family when I'm sick, and I can only imagine how it feels talking to the media. I don't take the human element out of it at all, Torrance. I hear you there. And even in my own explanation of it and my reading of the situation, I still wish he would have stuck to his guns. And even in answering the question, if you remember, I think it was Zach Berman that followed up and said, "Oh, you're talking about commitment. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by commitment?" And Hurts goes, "Like, do you want me to get you a dictionary?" Like, kind of, no pun intended, kind of snotty, kind of bratty the way he answered the question. And then he goes, "I'm sorry. I'm letting the cold get the best of me. I'm frustrated, and the loss is annoying, and all that stuff." Like, kind of like, "I'm sorry." And he did. He apologized right there, which is big of him. It was nice to kind of catch that he was kind of being a little short, rude, probably. And I certainly don't think he is, but in that case, I think he caught himself being a little rude. But I still wish he would have said, look, everyone needs to focus and get committed to the process here. Sean, what's going on? How you doing? Lies from all Eagles. Eagles versus Giants won't be a blowout. It'll be 17-10 game. Yeah, I can see that. I still think the Eagles put up 27. Like I said, I'm leaning towards a 27-17 Eagles victory. Keys 28 says, let's start the 2 rookies as outside cornerbacks, and Maddox back at the slot. We don't need injury-prone Slay and burnt toast Bradbury to start anymore. I am not against it. You know what's funny about the pencil, Keese? The pencil, I don't know if he took it out or it fell out. But as I was watching the press conference, I go, he's got the pencil in his hat during the press conference? Okay. Was he making notes of things he's saying? Interesting. Writing down reporters that are asking snotty questions. Snooty. That's the word I was looking for. And then it wasn't. And then it wasn't in his hat. And I'm like, did it fall out? What the hell? Ex-Pats coaches think they are Bill Belichick. Yeah. But the thing is, he's not here to be a head coach like he was in Detroit. He's here to be the defensive coordinator, essentially. Oh my goodness, Patricia, what the hell is wrong with Patricia? That's crazy. Sean Gillespie, Eagles, Patriots, his coaches, Bradbury, not as good as Rick's. Yeah. Keats, you're on fire today. Sidney just got to learn how to complete tackles because Sidney had plenty of tackles for loss in the Seahawks game and just missed them. Yep, you and I are on the same page. Who? Geez, Mike, Jalen is trash. I don't agree. April. Good morning, April. Vibes guy saying 31-17 Eagles. I hope you're right. Real RMP. I have zero confidence in this team until they show and prove. Well, here's the thing. They're not going to do it to the playoffs. Even if they do blow out the Giants, blow out the Cardinals, blow out the Giants again, are you really going to be like, this team could now beat the 49ers in the playoffs? I don't know. Not even close. Romy 1. What's going on? 42-10 Birds. All right. I hope that's the case. What about their offense now? Diego, you're asking for too much. Dan, Sirianni made 2 diversity hires. They did. This is why it actually is worth bringing up. The Eagles get compensatory picks if Sean Desai or Brian Johnson were to get head coaching jobs. So let's say the start of the year, Eagles, good chance to win the Super Bowl, right? Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. Sean Desai, being a minority, if he gets hired as a head coach in another organization, the Eagles get draft stock. So that's a reason for the Eagles to go, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. We don't have a high bar for anybody. Jonathan Gannon did not have a high bar defensively. But if they hire somebody else that could also get them a draft pick, that would go into it. I hate that that's part of the strategy, but it could be because you could get a draft pick out of it. I hate it, but that's the way it works out. That's not the analytical way. I assume checking down is not the analytical way. April, Jalen is frustrated, but so are the rest of us. Very true. T-Bro, just give me a damn win. Merry Christmas. T-Bro, I want to win too. Would love to see the Eagles win. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic, as per usual. Speaking of winning, let's get into the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. In case you're just joining us, you didn't hear us at the beginning of the show, and you didn't already do your morning scroll through social media, Yamamoto is off the board. He is signed with the LA Dodgers for on a 12-year, $325 million contract. Flyers lost last night 4-2 to the Nashville Predators. Their point streak gets snapped at 9 straight games. Now they go on the road to start a 5-game road trip starting tonight in Detroit at 7 o'clock when they drop the puck with the Red Wings for a Friday night edition of Flyers hockey. One thing I didn't check, and I want to do this, and I'll do this right now with you. The Flyers standings, because the Flyers are far exceeding my expectations for this season. Flyers in the standings right now, 9-game point streak. They are in second place in the Metropolitan Division. Holy Stromboli. The Rangers are in first place, 45 points. Flyers got 9 points. They are tied with the Islanders. It still blows my mind that the Flyers and the Detroit Red Wings are in the same conference. That shouldn't be allowed. Red Wings are 15-3-4 on the season. They have 34 points on the year. Sixers, by the way. Sixers are back at it tonight They host the Raptors, 7 o'clock tip-off. They just coming off their win against the Timberwolves. Nice bounce-back win after losing to the Bulls in disappointing fashion. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are wonderful. Look, I will be with you guys. I will be with you guys on Monday for Jacob Media pregame, halftime, and postgame responsibilities. No Farzi show Monday morning. It is Christmas. I'll try to get a little segment out there just so you guys know how I'm feeling leading up to the game, where we are, injuries and all that stuff. And T-Bro, I still have you up here, but there'll be a little show taped for you guys Monday morning, but it won't be live, so I can't have the funsies. You know what I'm saying? Maybe my kids will sleep in. Doubt it, but maybe my kids will sleep in. And I'll be able to do a little program for you, but I'll have to tape it at some point during the day. I do hope I can chronicle 7 fishes for you guys as it's going down. So you guys can at least see what all the goings on were in the Farzetta household. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. And I know I'll talk to you on Monday, but either way, for all that celebrate, Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are able to enjoy time off with your family. I wish you everything you want in life for your friends and your friends and family. Lots of hugging and kissing and sweet dreams. See you guys on Monday ahead of the Eagles. Look forward to that. See you guys then. Bye.